How design thinking is different. Design thinking is an approach that Tim Brown, Tom Kelly, and the team at the design firm IDEO created to illuminate the process they go through in solving problems and creating innovative solutions. Design thinking is quite different from the traditional management consulting approach to problem solving and solutioning, which can be learned in big global consulting firms. Design thinking has a number of defining characteristics that set it apart from traditional problem solving methods. One is taking a human-centered approach versus a purely analytical approach. Designers see the world through the eyes of the consumer. They put themselves in the shoes of the people who will be using a product or experiencing a service. They take their time to ratchet up their empathy and immerse themselves in the world of the user. It is through this immersion that they reveal critical problems to be solved or opportunities to enhance the design of a product or service. Whereas a traditional management consulting approach is to be much more data-driven. You bring in the Excel jockeys, dump a load of data, and then let them crunch through it and produce a bunch of pretty graphs. The challenge with this latter approach is it often misses the real issues affecting the business or opportunities in the marketplace. The other consideration is that machines will be able to do the work of data analysis and insight production. Human analytical value will increasingly come from understanding the human experience and seeing and solving those opportunities that can be revealed only through empathy and user immersion. This human-centered approach is also particularly helpful when pursuing simplification. Truly immersing oneself in the world of the worker reveals all kinds of contextual insights that would never be gathered purely from a survey or from data analysis. Sometimes the opportunities that delivers the greatest impact on crushing complexity are the subtle things that can be identified only through close observation. There was a large financial services company that was experiencing productivity issues and wanted to reveal what could be done in solving the problem. They rolled out surveys and completed their interviews and identified plenty of good opportunities, like training particular groups on how to manage emails and plan and prioritize effectively. But it was one observation that came from simply walking down the halls of the organization that provided a very interesting insight that would have macro-cultural implications. Everyone seemed to go from one committee to another. The company had created a culture of committees. They would bring people together to talk about everything anytime someone produced something, and it could be anything across both front and back offices. There was an implicit requirement to socialize it with as many people as possible. And then as soon as an update was made on the approach, design, or plan, it was resocialized with the same group. This cultural orientation resulted in people spending a significant proportion of their day and week in unnecessary, often low-value meetings. Pieces of work would circle round and around and around. People would think they would get a piece of work to a good place and would then get another piece of feedback that would send it down another track. When this observation was played back to the stakeholder group, there was a surprise and excited reaction. You mean there could be a way of reducing these meetings? There was clearly some built-up, repressed frustrations at the number of these meetings. But the common belief is that they were a necessary part of doing business. This observation led to a substantial effort to evolve the culture from heavy socialization to one that exemplified more entrepreneurial traits like ownership, fast failing, and informal collaboration. Taking a human-centered approach to problem solving truly reveals how to improve the experience of a person. And in this day and age, with machines taking over low-value, repeatable work, it makes sense to focus on how to better enable people to do their best work on the most important priorities. Design thinking is also highly participative. There is a focus on engaging clients and impacted teams throughout the process, from problem solving to solutioning to testing and rollout. There is so much value in getting client individuals and teams involved in the design thinking simplification process. They obviously have all the contextual information, and so are the sources of information required to come up with a solution. They often have a ton of ideas on how to simplify various parts of their role and thus are a valuable part in the brainstorming and solutioning process. And when they're engaged in the prototyping and iteration process, it fosters buy-in and ownership, which is essential if the solutions were to be embedded into the business and sustained over time. This approach is quite different from many traditional consulting engagements, where the consulting team works quite separately from the client. The consultants are often given the floor to themselves, depending on the size of the project and the client, or they'll be huddled together in a conference room somewhere hidden away. When it comes to the production of the work, junior consultants crunch away by themselves until the work is ready to be reviewed by the senior consultants. Once iterations have been made in-house, they're presented back to the clients, and given that the client has not participated in the sausage making, they all nod their heads during the presentation but do not really understand the intricacies of the work or have the desire to bring it to life. This leads to one of the common complaints to consulting firms. They come in, take up half of the floor, produce a bunch of beautiful PowerPoint presentation, and then leave. The clients have not been engaged throughout the process and do not have a sense of ownership or co-creation, and therefore when the consultants leave, the work falls flat and the significant investment is wasted. In the design thinking simplification process is highly valuable and delivers a bunch of impact. There is one caveat: capacity. You have to be careful with how much time your team soaks up from stakeholder groups. The engagement has to be somewhat targeted. Unless the individual have been assigned to the effort full-time, you should not expect or plan for a significantly time-consuming sessions. You have to be conscious that the individual have a day job, so this should inform how and when they are baked into the process. Overall, the more engagement from stakeholders in the design thinking simplification process, the better. Their input is essential through the 3 steps of design thinking method and is invaluable in the context of pursuing simplification. In the next videos, we'll talk about design thinking methods for simplifying work.